I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV. We are live from the floor here at CTIA Wireless 2012 in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm speaking with Mr. John Green of Movius. How are you today, sir?
I'm very good, thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic city. Great show.
Great weather, little humid, but tremendous food, tremendous restaurants, and tremendous environment overall.
For all of the people out there in bnetTV land, why don't you tell me a bit about Movius and why you're here at CTIA?
The main drive for ourselves here at CTIA is launching some technology that we've actually gone live with Telefonica in Latin America across multiple properties. A lot of people talk about the Boyd phenomenon, bring your own device, and it's very much focused at the data and application layer, enterprise security of documents, things of that nature. We've brought into the equation at the voice and messaging layer.
Okay.
So quite literally, one handset, multiple lines, autonomous and also agnostic to one device. So it's not dual SIM technology, it's not dual anything, it's virtual numbering with totally separate billing and all the associated functionalities that you'd expect with one device. And if you look at the Boyd phenomenon, it's a case of how can you actually have a business line and a personal line. So we talk about it at the data layer, but no one's really been able to provide a solution at the voice and messaging layer and also the data layer. And some of the things that we're demonstrating this week is exactly that concept. Physically live, showing the carrier client base that this is potentially available, and it is actually a working solution that can be commercialized in the North American market today.
Okay, so first question is, what differentiates your system from something like a Skype virtual number, a Google voice number?
Excellent question. First off, let's just say if we agree to categorize that as traditionally an over-the-top play.
Right, okay.
Our solution provides that over-the-top play, but more importantly, it also provides the traditional voice channel capability.
Okay.
So, as well as having an IP data play over the top, as in using the data, we also use the incumbent infrastructure. So the beauty of that is you can, for example, from a carrier's perspective, have two ARPUs from one device.
Okay. Carrier's got to be loving that idea.
Exactly.
For sure.
Even if it's only 10, 15 percentage points, that's tremendous increase.
Right, for sure, right? Absolutely.
Very importantly, you're actually maximizing the carrier's infrastructure.
Okay.
Whilst they're deploying, for example, the latest 4G technologies. So our solution will allow for both an over-the-top and simultaneously a traditional voice play.
So, not necessarily working within the software or the OS of the phone, because that...
We have both.
All right.
And it's basically, so we have a technology partnership with other vendors, and that allows us to have two autonomous dialers on the physical phone.
Okay.
So everybody talks about the native dialer.
Yes.
And that has always been a crux of an issue of how you get past that.
Absolutely.
Our solution basically allows you to have two dialers and then consequently two totally separate identifications, which also then of course allows for separate billing, separate messaging, and extremely importantly, it's cross-carrier and autonomous to the underlying GSM, CDMA, 4G, wireline, cable infrastructures.
It would seem to me as an employer that would be a fantastic system to have in how, if I could go back to my carrier, own the number, track the billing, and not have to wait for expense reports to be submitted to watch
100%. You've encapsulated it in a nutshell. From a finance and CFO's perspective,
right.
The phenomenon of basically, somebody wants to bring their iPhone in, for example, or their Samsung device, and it's a case of, well, that's mine, I prefer that. However, we have to look at the security element, and we also then, that painstaking task of going through the itemized bill, ticking it off. With our solution, it is a totally autonomous billing for both voice and data services.
Fantastic.
So straight away, the finance department, the CFOs of this world, It's a case of there's a clear bill for that, there's a clear bill which has nothing to do with us, and you pay that,
OpEx
Mr. Employee.
and CapEx.
At both ends.
At
the
both
carrier level
yeah.
and at the enterprise subscriber level.
Right. So absolutely. Okay, so fantastic, awesome. How do I get it? Where do I get it? Because this is not something that I can just walk through the door and say, hey, John, how do I, sign me up?
And that's our drive here at CTIA
Okay.
for education. Of course, we're doing that in a background mode directly outside of CTIA, but CTIA is being used as the launch pad for the North American market for this functionality.
Okay.
Obviously, Movius has an incredibly large client base here in North America from its history of IP Unity, Glen Eyre, and now, of course, Movius since 2007. And it's now introducing this concept on the back heels of the Boyd as we know it today.
Okay.
And actually extending that down to the voice and messaging level, which has got different implications.
Sure.
And of course, benefits in terms of revenue streams and administration right across the board.
My final question, unfortunately, because we will sort of wrap up here, but I could talk for a while about this. Time to market for a carrier to deploy something like that, because it would sound to me like it would be very simple for them to get into market, but North American carriers are synonymous with slow moving.
I think I'll answer that in a roundabout fashion, if I may. Once the decision's been made, it can go to market in a matter of weeks. So to be clear on that, when I say weeks, we're talking a 12, 16-week cycle. Of course, ensuring that all, to use a phrase, all the ducks are in a row.
Right.
And then all the departments are actually aligned. We have working examples, for example, with the Telefonica properties in Latin America, where typically it's anything from a 12 to 16-week deployment cycle.
Okay, so that is very quick, for
sure.
Very
quick.
quick.
I got to emphasize, as long as everybody's in alignment.
For sure.
But that is the reality.
If a carrier can increase ARPU, then they've got to be on top of it, because their inevitable shareholder is going to be like, hey,
Exactly.
Let's get that going north here.
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent. John, thanks for taking the opportunity to speak with us here today at CTI. I hope we get a chance for an update in the future. Congratulations on the launch. Fantastic product, and I look forward to our next engagement.
Thank you for your time.
Great. I've been speaking with Movius' John Green here at CTIA Wireless, and in New Orleans, I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV.